Ready? The purpose of my today's presentation is to introduce you some of the ideas of Nietzsche. He's a German philosopher, and I will use international relation to demonstrate the applicability of his ideas. My claim is that Nietzsche's philosophy offers the best available explanation of the international relation, and I will use US government as a specific case. Nietzsche is perhaps the most controversial thinker in the entire history of philosophy. Yet he inspired leading figures in all walks of cultural life. Say dancers, musicians, poets, novelists, psychologists, philosophers, sociologists, and even social revolutionists. Then why is he so much controversial? Well, we will see it later on. Some of his before we go further, we would like to discuss what kind of philosopher he was and what his purpose was. Nietzsche used the metaphor physician for the philosopher. He means and described a role of philosopher as physician of culture. So a physician is more concerned about the health of the patient rather than its specific causes. So philosophy should be a medicine of culture. So it also described, the metaphor medicine also described Nietzsche's approach to the phenomena. For him, all the cultural products are mere symptoms. And he views human being as both as product and producer of culture. In his words, sickness defines the human in its transition from nature to culture. And this religion, morality are the symptoms in its way human has dealt with its sickness. And he says that if you take them as cultural product, as symptoms, you cannot take them as they appear to be. So he said that moral judgment reveals most valuable realities over cultures and inwardness. Morality is mere sign language, mere symptomatology. So his philosophy is symptomatology. We can ask, as if he studied this cultural product as symptoms, what he sees as a physician of culture. He sees certain kind of life, a certain type of pattern. So he described that this life is will to power. He says we all human beings has desire to gain power and exercise it. He thinks this is the most fundamental reality. Even in our social relationship, we want to dominate the other person, influence him. It may not be physical but psychological. Even in our knowledge, all theories are there in constant struggle with each other. They try to annihilate the other theories, other interpretations. So this anarchic situation is in all domain of human life. And he says that this is also in religion as well. Nietzsche didn't assume any clear agency of power. He says it can take any form. For instance, institutional power like United Nations, IMF, World Bank. He can take that media is also power. And he says that if someone can generate appeal to pity for himself, it's also a power. So his concept of power is very widespread. Now we are going to some of his most radical concept, which made him famous or also gave him some disrepute. He proclaimed that God is dead. There is a time when God created this world, he was running this world, now he is no longer alive. Now we human beings would run this world, not the God. And he also didn't believe that is there anything which you can call absolute truth or absolute morality. Once he said that what we call facts are just mere interpretations, nothing else. And he asked few other questions about, say, justice. What is justice? And what is good? He says justice is just a term which is invented by weaker ones to control the powerful and to give them bad conscience. And what is good? Good and justice are only those things which are defined by powerful. Any such concept which is not defined by powerful has no practical significance at all. They are just worthless. But it doesn't mean that he rejects all types of morality. He said that broadly speaking we can define there are two types of morality. Master morality and slave morality. Master morality is what a powerful define. And slave morality is that what weaker one follows the master morality. He also calls slave morality as morality of herds. And yes, so now since God is dead, so so there is a place of the supreme being. It has been vacant now. Someone has to fill it. Who's going to fill it? He says it can be either a human being, it can be a school of thought, an institution, or a country, but it has some kind of power. So as we were talking about in context of international relations, so we will define a definition of superpower. So it will be not precise definition, but it's what I think it is. A superpower is a country which has most influential media and significantly larger economy, and which can kill maximum number of people in minimum amount of time. I would call that country a superpower. So in that sense, since the breakage of Soviet Union, United States can be considered as superpower. Now, United States in its nature's world is the Ubermensch or superhuman overman. So now United States has right to define any kind of morality it likes. For instance, after 9/11, United States define a moral principle. Are you with us or with terrorists? The rest of the world has no choice except to follow it, because the rest of the world has morality of herds, slave morality. And it's not only that, even before 9/11, United States abandoned the Treaty of 1972, which was between United States and Russia, that they would not pursue ballistic missile program. But he abandoned it because now Russia was not as powerful. They said they would not abide to Kyoto Environmental Protocol, and they also said that they would not submit to International Criminal Court. And why America can do all this? Because now United States is value creating body. It can define its own morality. And the facts that I have given you about the United States, it was in the book U.S. National Government, written by O'Connor and published in 2006. It is also a textbook in our university. Now, finally, I would like to talk a few things about Nietzsche. It is almost impossible to know Nietzsche without being profoundly wounded and profoundly delighted at the same time. It's almost impossible. His philosophy is philosophy of irrationalism. In its essence, it is insane. There are literally hundreds of interpretations, but we should never forget that his philosophy has only one aspect, which is culture. He views all cultural products as mere symptoms. In that sense, then his own philosophy is a symptom, a manifestation of an illness. A famous British mathematician and philosopher, Bertrand Russell, expressed disliking for Nietzsche in his Nobel Prize winning book, History of Western Philosophy. He writes, it must be considered so far as to future have. His prophecies proved more nearly right than liberals and socialists. If he is a mere symptom, then disease must be very widespread. The thing that bothered me most when I read Nietzsche's philosophy is world is as inherent and his world is inherently irrational and brutal as Nietzsche proclaimed. All his life, he made fun of gods and goddesses, mocked them, and finally they took their revenge. He collapsed mentally at the age of 45 and never recovered. Soul was not allowed to leave his body 11 more years. He paid the highest price for his genius. Thank you.